So Skool just made a massive announcement, and it's something that I think will potentially destroy Patreon and be the end in the long term of Facebook groups. So I'm going to talk you through what they've done, which is essentially that they've created a $9 per month subscription. So previously it was just $99. That was it. You paid $99 and you could create and host your own Skool community and get all of the features. Now, they realized this was quite expensive for a lot of hobbyist channels, so they have now created the hobby subscription, which is a $9 subscription. Previously, the likes of Patreon, they kind of had this monopolized. So I'm going to go through the different features and limitations that this account has, and then a couple of different ways that I would see that you could potentially use this as either an educator or hobbyist channel moving forward. Because for the amount of features and benefits that you get with Skool, really, Patreon had a lot of limitations, and the main one was always their really, really high fees with no way to get out of it. It's why a lot of people that did do Patreon actually moved out and elsewhere as they started to get more views and grow, because they didn't really want to be giving sort of 14-15% of the money that they were making to Patreon for the rest of the time. So there was a lot of limitations as well. It wasn't necessarily a sort of pure membership and community system. It had a lot of flaws. And obviously Facebook, we know the flaws of Facebook. Facebook essentially didn't show any of your posts and engagement for the people that were actually inside the community. It really limited it. It's always been a bit pay to play. So Facebook's been dying for a long time now, but we've not really had a credible way to replace Facebook, which was mainly because of not having things like video hosting as well, and obviously not just being able to replace it straight away with a direct competitor. In the past, there's been things, but Skool has been the closest thing that we've got. And now with hosting, they basically got video hosting. So you've got native hosting for videos now on the platform for your online courses, and also for your members to be able to actually just upload a video as a post, as a comment, to share soon in the DMs. And I think they're going to be releasing live streaming soon as well. So I really see Skool now starting to replace Facebook, but also now, because of this update, Patreon. So I'm going to go through the features, and then we'll go through some strategies that you could potentially use with this new opportunity, because $9 is, you've got no excuse really anymore not to create a Skool community. So the first thing is that you're going to get all of the features. So you're going to get all of the features that are included inside, and especially the one I thought they would restrict was video hosting, and they haven't. And that is a really boss move. That is they're looking to take on the competition with that move. Because for me, hosting videos, many of these online course platforms, marketing funnels, some of them have got video hosting, but they're all at least $100 a month. And your online courses, you are having to pay for the likes of Loom or Vimeo, which was an additional, at best, $15 per month, potentially $25 if you were Vimeo. And I think it might even be $30 a month. So you were automatically saving that money. So for me, with the video hosting alone, it's an absolute no-brainer, because now you have the community where your members can share their own videos, but you can also host your online course without paying for anything extra. And if they're going to do live streaming in the next few weeks, then game over, because you've just saved the $9 and then some on video hosting. But you also get all of the community options in terms of, how many unlimited members inside, unlimited courses, and you've got all of the fact that you can send emails to people. You've got the full community, basically. There's no limitations on the types of features that you're going to get, which I was really, really surprised about. And as I said, unlimited members and unlimited courses, which if you're looking to potentially sell a course, or you're just wanting to do a community, then now for $9, whether you use some of those features or you don't, is extremely beneficial. So there's no real limitations there. There is the fact that you only get one admin, but normally when you're doing a hobbyist channel or a small one, or you're getting started as a solopreneur, you only really need one admin anyways. It's going to be you. So as you grow later on, if you want to add more, then that would be a pro feature for the $99 to upgrade. The main thing you're going to see in terms of the costs is going to be the 10% transaction fee instead of 2.9%, which is obviously Patreon, we can see, is 14% kind of on average, but that's for life. The benefit is that you can actually upgrade when you're ready to the 99 account and go down to the cheapest subscription amount, because even with Stan Store is about 6%. I think you've got Many other platforms that sort of circle and onwards, they sit around 7%. So you're always overall, when they add all the additional sort of little charges and hidden charges and fees and stuff, you're potentially still going to be able to scale up to the lowest amount. So if you did sort of do a high ticket product and you're selling $1,000 and you don't want to give $100 to Skool because it makes no sense, then you could upgrade at that point and start keeping more of the money yourself and just paying the monthly fixed fee to the Skool platform. So that's absolutely fantastic. And obviously, if you're only selling a low ticket community, maybe you're doing a $7 community, all you really need to do is charge $8 or $9, and you can hand that 10% over to your customers, essentially. And when you're doing small numbers, the 10% is nothing. It only really becomes a big deal when you're starting to sell more, which is why people get caught in the trap with Patreon, because they see it and go, well, I'm not really paying much for anything, because Patreon essentially can be free. But it's then very quickly, as you start to grow, you realize how much you are actually paying them, and you would rather pay more. You don't get a custom URL, so you can go skool.com / and you could change it once when you are paying after your free trial. And I will put a link in the video description up to Skool if you want to get a free trial. It's not a sponsored video at all. And I will also put a link in the video description to more free training on how I would actually use YouTube to potentially grow your Skool community and also your online business. If you're, say, an online coach or you're starting an education business, then I can put a free workshop below this where you can see how to leverage YouTube and how I would do it and how I recommend doing it for your education business. But then, so you've got no custom links. So after the skool.com / whatever, you can change that name so that you control that, a bit like owning your own domain. So you could previously do that. You can only do that now on the Pro, but they will automatically just name it after the name of your school with some numbers afterwards. So it just won't look as pretty. And then you've got hidden suggested groups. So this is a new thing. So what they're basically doing with this, apparently they want to get more users on the platform, which makes sense if they plan to take on Patreon and Facebook. They need to get more people using it, more people downloading the app, and more communities in there. That way, once people have their card details and so much on file, it actually benefits all of the pro paying accounts because more people are in there discovering their communities as well. So it becomes an ecosystem for communities to find new people. I think on average about 22%, they say, 22% of new members coming to your community is coming from people discovering your community on the actual Skool platform. Now, I don't know how that fluctuates. Maybe it's more active people in certain groups and they're filtering their way through, or whether it's coming directly from discovery. I have absolutely no idea. But there is a benefit to that, and they actually want to start pushing that more. Much like when you're on Facebook, you can be discovered in different ways and grow organically within the Facebook platform. They want to push this more. So by doing the low ticket one, you will actually have a sidebar that will have suggested communities. And those suggested communities will be pushing people to similar communities. So it's a bit like having ads on your YouTube channel to the side, trying to pull people away from your videos and your channel. It's doing the same thing. So this is almost a bit like sort of ads, but not paid ads. They're promoting the more expensive and the better groups and pulling away from yours, potentially. But at the same time, you're not really paying much of anything. So it's a bit like having Netflix with ads, I guess. And then as we come down, so those are essentially the main things. So that is really the main difference, is not a custom URL, the fees, and not being able to hide that part. So this really is a fantastic option for anybody to start making an additional income from YouTube as a creator, but also for those looking to grow their education businesses. So I'm going to go in a couple of different ways that I actually seen this being leveraged. The first would obviously be a direct competition with Patreon, directly taking on Patreon. So where you're a hobbyist or your YouTube channel and you want to add an additional layer for your members, maybe you do a live once a week in there, or there's an additional free content, or you're very much just doing the same thing you would do with Patreon, a little bit more for free for the members, and that's it. So then it's a low ticket community, sort of $5 to $10, and you decide what's inside, but it's very community focused. So it's not so much about creating an online business or having a goal or outcome like you would with an online course. So education businesses are very information and goal driven, whereas community is about you just staying and hanging out and getting some benefits to it, but it's more about the community. So it's community first, which is kind of the idea of Patreon. It's meant to be an extension of your YouTube channel. So you could just use it in that hobbyist. So maybe you're not really an educator, but you would like to add an additional layer. So I'm not a massive fan of low ticket offers, but I am an educational creator. I am a coach. This is my business. This is what I do. For you, maybe you're happy with a bit of ad revenue from YouTube. And if you get 100 people paying you $107, let's say, then that's potentially, before fees, an extra $700 a month. Maybe you're happy with that. And for the fact that you don't have to do very much in the side and you can charge very little, and maybe people are happy to pay that long term, it may be a nice additional income stream for you. So I think it's going to be a very easy way to just add that secondary income. You can really think about it in different ways. But if you want to add more ways, then I would say that if you have an idea to build an education business here, but you're not quite sure what it is yet, and you just want to get people in first, or you want to wait to generate leads. So for a lot of us, that would just be capturing an email. And everybody has always said that Skool is basically email on steroids. So it is email on steroids because you're getting everybody into an ecosystem. You can talk to them in various different ways. You can capture their email, and you can also send emails from within the Skool platform. So you have more ways to communicate with people. So that was great, but previously with $100, it was a bit much to pay for that just for capturing emails, when you can get email platforms for free for the first 1,000 people and so on. I think even Kit, the first 10,000 people are free for emails. So it made no real sense to use it as your lead funnel for $100 if you weren't properly monetizing. But now you can create that ecosystem for free. It actually does now make sense. And you can then create online courses inside that are at a premium, and then people can pay to upgrade within. So you could actually just keep it as free and have paid courses inside. And that would be a benefit, a way for you to then basically build an email list, nurture people into future products, and then also create online courses. The only thing I would say about this, especially when it comes to YouTube, is that YouTube is often seen as your free community. And communities can take a lot of work so that they don't die. So you do have to commit to doing more. So if you just want to send an email, just get people to sign up for a freebie and nurture an email list. But otherwise, it really is a better option in many ways to email, especially if you want to upsell and sell more inside. So maybe you have courses you want to sell, maybe you want to sell coaching services, and you just want a way to filter people. Then I would say that's the next best thing towards that. And then the third way, which I prefer sort of mid and high ticket offers, because they're going to give you more money, you have to deal with fewer people, you end up getting a better quality of client, and you can get people better results. So again, we're talking, these last two really are about sort of goal-driven and education style channels. You're obviously normally, when you're going to do anything high ticket, you're going to move into having you're not really going to do monthly that much, because monthly you're selling information. So once people get that information, they don't really stay in the community much longer. So once they get the outcome or the result that they want, they're no longer staying. They're moving on elsewhere, because you're not community first. So when you're selling an outcome or a goal, once people get that, they're gone. It's not community driven. They're not coming and staying for the community. So although everybody always says they come for the course, but they stay for the community, kind of, maybe not so much. Some people will really want to do that, but many will still think about the money first and renewing after a certain period. So inevitably, if you want people to stay, if they get the desired result in 3 months, they're not going to pay after 3 months. They're just going to cancel and move on. So it's better to sell annual. And this becomes sort of more of a mid to high ticket. And this is where I would say that beta testing with the $9 is going to be fantastic, because now you've taken the pressure off getting results. What you can do is filter in a small group. Let's say, depending on the amount that you're doing, you actually want to make sure that we all hate turning up to a party that is just boring and nothing's really happening. So you could get people into there first, maybe the first 100, or if it's high ticket, the first sort of 10 to 20. Work with them. You could even close it down temporarily. Work with them, get testimonials, get results, and then you can monetize it afterwards, gradually raising the prices if you want, or you could even take it to high ticket and sell by calls. There's a variety of different ways you could do it, but it takes the pressure off you beta testing with them and paying for the community. Because if you were doing beta testing for, say, a few months, it would be a few $100s, and maybe you don't want to spend that. So I really see this as those three different options there, where even for high ticket people and people wanting to beta test, this is going to be the great way for you just to get people inside, start using the platform, start getting it to work before you potentially start charging people more and making more money with it. So I think this is going to be an absolute game changer, partnered with some of the new features, including native video. It's really going to change the game. So I think it's one that people should definitely check out. So we'll put a link down below again for Skool, and also for my free workshop if you would like to know how I recommend leveraging YouTube to grow your education business. All right, I'll see you in the next one.